Hello, today I'll be coding a pan and zoom demo. So here I can't zoom out more because I'm already fully zoomed out, but I can zoom in, and again that's up to a certain point. When I can't zoom in anymore, I can also move around with the mouse, but not with the keyboard. So that's what I'm going to be showing you today, how to zoom and move around with the keyboard, with the plus and minus keys, with the arrow keys. The starting point is going to be the low detail map from here. And I'm saying starting point because this can be cleaned up a bit. I can take out some stuff and reduce the size. So for example, if I have a comma and a minus, I can take out the comma, just leave the minus, and it works just fine. If I have a 0 point something, I can take out the 0, just leave point something. If I have multiple line commands, because this is made up of multiple line commands, I can just take that line 2 command after the first one, and everything works just fine if I take that one out. So yeah, I can reduce the size from 50.8, what I have here, to 43.8. That's 7K, that's 14% in total. So that's quite a bit. This is going to be mostly a JS demo. So the first thing that I'm going to be doing here is I'm going to be taking this out and getting the key codes. So I'm going to have add event listener on key up. Oopsie. And here I'm going to have a function. Okay, and here I'm going to be getting the key codes. Console log tell me what I hit, because I don't know them by heart. Okay, so here I'm going to be hitting plus, minus, left, up, right, down. Okay, so those are my values. Now I'm going to be using them in here. So let's say I'm going to be using right. That's 39, and I'm going to have an object here. The first thing in here is the action, which is in this case it's move for the arrow keys. Then I'm going to have a direction. I'm going right, that's in the positive direction of the x-axis, so that's going to be +1. Then I'm going to have a name, which is right. Then I'm going to have an axis, and this is the x-axis, so the first axis, so the axis at index 0. Now I'm going to take this and just copy paste it for the other ones, and going to make the proper changes. So here I'm going to have 180 something. Then I'm going to have a different action that's going to be zoom. Then I'm going to have no axis, so no axis. This is going to be 187. This is going to be in. Then I'm going to have out, arrow left, up, down. The axis for up and down is 1. The direction for out, left, and up is -1, because left and up go in the negative direction of the axis, and zooming out is minus. Okay, this is going to be 37, 38, and this one is going to be 40. Now what's left is just align stuff here. So up, down. Okay. Now one more thing here. Everything is aligned nicely. Okay, that's good. Now what I'm going to do here, if the key that was hit can be found in that navigation map, I'm going to have a navigation object. So let's see. This is going to be null initially. So here I'm going to set it to So this should do it. And here I'm going to have two cases. So if the navigation action is zoom, the first thing that I do here is handle the edge cases. So what are my edge cases? So I'm fully zoomed out and I'm trying to zoom out more. That's an edge case. I'm fully zoomed in, I'm trying to zoom in more. That's another edge case. Now, what are the minimum and maximum? What are these limits? To get them, I need to get the SVG and the viewBox. So get the SVG element first. Document, query selector, SVG. Now I'm going to get the viewBox. And this one is going to be the SVG element, get attribute, viewBox. And this needs to be a capital B, otherwise it's not going to work. Split by a space, and these are still strings, so I need to convert them. And now I have numbers. Now I'm going to get the maximum dimensions, and I'm going to take them to be the initial ones. So slice 2, and I'm also going to set a minimum width. Let's say something like 8. Now this does it. So here I'm going to have two edge cases. So if I'm in one of them, the first edge case, or in the second edge case, then I'm going to do some stuff, console log, some error message, something, and I'm going to return. I'm not going to do anything else if I'm in one of these two edge cases. So let's see my edge cases. So if my direction is -1, so I'm trying to zoom out, but I'm already fully zoomed out. So my viewBox width, that's of 2, is greater or equal to the maximum dimension. Then I'm in the first edge case. What is wrong? Oh, okay. I don't have anything in the second edge case. I think that's what its problem is. Let's see if I paste. Okay, yeah, that's what the problem was. So here, if it's smaller or equal to the minimum width. Okay, so cannot zoom, and here I'm going to interpolate the name, which should be in or out. Now let's see if I'm hitting this edge case if I'm trying to zoom out. Cannot zoom out more. Okay, perfect. I'm hitting the edge case, that's good. So I'm fully zoomed out, that's what I'm expecting there. Now let's collapse this. Okay, I got this edge case out of the way. Next thing I need to do is set a target viewBox. So initially this target viewBox is going to be an empty array with 4 items. Now here I'm going to have a loop, and some may say it's ridiculous to do it for just 2 items, but oops, I0, I smaller than 2. I'm going to do it for one of the 2 directions, horizontal or vertical. So here I'm going to set the target size along the current axis. So this one is going to be the viewBox size along the current axis over 2 raised at the power of the direction. So 2 raised to the direction. Now I'm going to have the offset along this axis, and this one is going to be half of the maximum value, the maximum size along this axis, minus the current viewBox along this axis. No, minus the target, sorry, minus the target along this axis. Okay, minus the target size along this axis. Let's see. Show me the target in this case. So if I'm trying to zoom in, you should give me the target. Oh, power. Sorry. Oopsie. Big oopsie. They should give me the target. Okay, and it does, and it looks good. Yeah, it looks good. Now, for the second case, if my action is move, so I'm going to have something pretty similar. Here I'm starting with the viewBox at the top left corner at 0, 0. So in this case, I'm going to have the navigation axis, and here I'm going to have smaller or equal to 0 here, and here greater or equal to the maximum minus the viewBox along the same axis, so plus 2. So I believe this should do it. Yeah, it looks about right. Cannot move more. So let's see if that works. Let's clear stuff here. Okay, and let's try to go in different directions. Okay, nothing seems to happen. I should be hitting the edge case here. So that's okay. So oh, move. That's what's wrong. Okay, so yeah, that's it. Now I should be hitting the edge case for these. Cannot move left more, cannot move up more, cannot move right more. Okay, I'm hitting the edge cases. So I'm fully zoomed out. I can't move in any direction. I can only zoom in. That's good. Now, the target along my axis is going to be the current position along the same axis plus half the direction times the viewBox, the viewBox dimension. So this should do it. So oh, that's not going to work because I'm hitting the edge case here. Okay, fine. Now I've done this. I can collapse this as well. So I have the zoom or move case, and if I didn't hit any of the edge cases, I am going to call an update function. Okay, that looks just about right. So now here I'm going to have function update, and this is going to be my animation function. So something else I'm going to have here is a total number of frames the animation happens over. Let's say it's going to be something like 32. Here I'm going to have a current frame index, and this one is 0. I'm also going to have a request ID, which is null initially. So here I'm going to compute a progress k, which is this frame index updated over the total number of frames. I'm also going to compute a j, which is 1 minus k, because this doesn't change throughout this function. And I'm also going to compute a current viewBox, which is initially the viewBox, a copy of the viewBox. Okay, and here I'm also going to consider the two cases, if my action is zoom or if my action is move. So if my action is zoom, so here I'm going to have a loop where, so I'm going to take all the 4 viewBox components, and I'm going to recompute them for the current frame. So my current viewBox of I is j times the initial viewBox plus the target, k times the target. So this should do it. And after I've done this, I'm going to have SVG set attribute viewBox So this should do it. And I want to have an animation, so I'm going to have request ID is request animation frame update. Now I want to have a condition to exit this animation loop, and this happens when f reaches this total number of frames. So in this case, I'm going to return, but before I do that, I'm going to do a few more things. I'm going to have cancel animation frame, and I'm going to use the request ID for this. Then I'm going to set the request ID to null, and also I'm going to set the navigation to null as well. Okay, I'm going to set the viewBox to the current viewBox value. I'm also going to reset f to 0. I'm going to reset the target. Okay, I've reset all this stuff. Looks just about right. So let's see if I can zoom in. And sure enough, I can zoom in. Let's see when I hit the limit. Cannot zoom in more. That's great. Can I zoom out? Yep, I sure can zoom out. Now that's good. Now my other choice here is else if it's move. So move. I'm just going to update a single thing. Not direction, axis, sorry. So it's basically going to be the same thing as here, except it's going to use the navigation axis instead of an I. So navigation axis in both cases. So let's clear stuff here, and I'm going to zoom in and then just try to move around, and sure enough it works. And let's see, cannot move down more. Let's move left till I hit the edge. Move left, cannot move left more. Move up. Let's see. cannot move up more. That's good. Now let's go right. Let's see how much we can go. Cannot move right more. Okay, now we're zooming in. Cannot zooming out. Sorry, cannot zoom out more. Okay, that's good. That works just fine. And of course, I can prettify this from the CSS. Just add styles on hover, make stuff light up. So, for example, I can have something like this. And now, okay, that should have worked, doesn't it? Apparently not. Okay, I have no idea why that doesn't work. It should be working. Okay, that's totally ridiculous. It should totally work. If I just do stuff like okay, this works. Okay, now it works, which is awkward. Okay, I have no idea why that didn't work initially. I'm not going to go further with prettifying. You can do a lot of stuff with the CSS and just make it prettier overall. I'm not going to waste more time on it. I just wanted to show you the JS part, how you do the pan and zoom stuff. You're going to find the link to the finished demo on CodePen in the description below. If you have any questions, you can drop them in the comments or send them on Twitter. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you have and you want me to be able to continue to do more stuff like this in the future, please consider supporting my work in one of the ways explained in the description below. You can do it with a donation, or you can do it by getting me something off my Amazon wishlist. There are 2 links there. Or at least share this to show the world what can be done with just plain JavaScript and SVG these days, because I think it's pretty damn cool. In any event, thanks for watching.